Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. We'll be making a cowl neck blouse today. So first off, I will draft my back bodies and create the neckline of 3 inches width and 1.5 inches depth. So I'll use the cuff part of my pattern master and I will cuff this. Going back to my shoulder line, I will place a half of my shoulder measurement. At that point, I'm going down with 1 inch for my shoulder slant and I'll connect it to my neck width. So creating my chest line, I'll go down at my shoulder slant with 8 inches and that'll be for my chest line. So for my arm curve, I'll go inwards at the midpoint of the vertical line with 1/2 inch and I'll use the curve part of my pattern master and create my arm curve, and that's for the front arm curve. For my vertical dimensions, okay, I'm just marking my half length and my blouse length. So I will place my horizontal dimensions. I'll just draw the lines out. On my chest line, I'm placing 1/4 of my bust measurement plus 1/2 inch ease allowance and 1 inch for seam. Then on the waist, I'm placing 1/4 of my waist measurements plus 1 inch, though I will not be observing that, and then my seam allowance. On my hip is 1/4 of my hip measurement plus the seam allowance. I'm just creating a balance here, okay, going up 1 inch at my hem. And at my arm cuff again, I'm simply cuffing this out for the back arm cuff. Usually the back arm cuff is 1/2 inch wider. So I'll be using this fabric and I'll place the pattern on the folded fabric and cut this out for the back bodies. So I'm taking out the arm cuff for the back so I can cut the front. Placing this on a folded fabric, you just take an ankle as far as you want, okay? That straight line, horizontal line, I am just drawing it to serve as a shoulder, a shoulder line. So you can take it as far as you want, depends on how cowl you want the neck. So at this point, I'll just cut this. Okay, now for the part you notice it wasn't enough for me. I was just simply bringing a piece of fabric and join it to where I cut it out. Okay, I'm simply showing this part so we'll have an idea of how to join in case your fabric is not enough, and because I'll be talking in this most of the time, so I don't mind. So creating the seam allowance so I can join the pieces to the main blouse. I'll interlock it and there we have the full length of the blouse. For the neckline, I just made a long piece of fabric for my facing, and the back I'll join it at the midpoint, the back center line. I'll turn the neck with this bias, okay? And for my front, I've turned the facing, the neckline. I'll just bring my back bodies and join it at the shoulder to the front bodies. Now, so I will have a neat finishing. I'll simply take the excess of the facing that I have there. I'll join it to the back bodies, and so that 1/2 inch I'll be using for the shoulder joining. And it will help me to have a neat look. Okay, I'll cut the excess through the arm cuff. So I've joined the shoulder and I'll just simply arrange this well, make sure it is relaxed, and then I'll cut out the excess at each of the arm cuff, the left and the right. Now remember, the facing will be on the front bodies. So when I'm done cutting this out, I'll take out my seam allowance at the side and then do the hemming using that yellow bias. So I've done that, and then I'll cut the sleeve. For the sleeve, I just folded this piece of fabric that I have left. I folded it into 2 again because I want to cut the 2 sleeves together. So creating my bicep depth and placing 1/4 of my bicep plus ease allowance. Okay, I'll just slant it out to meet at the hem. Okay, so I'm using a free hand. If you want to have a better understanding of how to draft a sleeve, I'll link the link I'll leave the link of my tutorial in the description box below. So I'll cut this out, and at the hem there I'll just create a balance going upward at the ankle there with 1.5 inches and slant that out. Notching my midpoint, I'm taking out the cuff for the front. So for the hem, I'll interlock it, use 1/2 inch to sew, and I'll be using this 1/2 inch elastic measuring 8 inches length to do the gathers at the wrist. So I'm done inserting the elastic, and then I'll arrange my blouse, get the midpoint of my armhole, and I'll bring the corresponding sleeve to insert. Now, of course, you will note the left sleeve when the 1/2 inch inward faces upward. Okay, so that's it, and I'll insert it, and this is our blouse. Thank you for being here. See ya in the next video.